Hello everyone, welcome to today's class. This is teacher Simon taking you through AS Pure Mathematics 1, and this is paper 9709 stroke 15 for May June 2025. And this is part 1 for questions 1 to 6. Now, by the way, this is the first of its kind to see variant 5, okay, in this May June. We have always had variant 1, variant 2, variant 3, but now there is also variant 5. Probably the regions have increased. Okay, so let's go to question 1. The equation of a curve is such that dy dx is equal to this expression. It is given that the curve passes through the point 2, 4. Find the equation of the curve. Of course, here we are supposed to integrate, and that's also y is going to be equal to the integral of dy dx. So this will be 12, then the 2x minus 5 squared, then plus 8x, and then dx. So when we integrate here, we shall increase the power by 1. So we get a 3. We divide by that new power, then times the derivative of this one, which will be a 2, which comes from a differentiation using chain rule. Okay, then here we shall have 8x squared out of 2, and then we shall put a constant here because we don't know which constant disappeared when they differentiated. Okay, now this one here is a 6. It can go here 2 times, so we can have 2 into 2x minus 5 cubed, then plus 4x squared plus c. And then for us to get this value of c, we use a point through which a curve passes, and we have this 2, 4. So using this point 2, 4, y is a 4, and then x is a 2. So wherever there is x, I'm going to put a 2, and here plus 4, then 2 squared, and then plus c. This is 4. This one here is going to be 4 minus 5, that is a negative 1. And then all the power of a negative is a 1, is a negative. So this one will be negative 1. And then times 2, that will be negative 2. So when it crosses, it will become a plus 2. And then this one here is 4 times 4, that is 16. When it crosses, it's a negative to give us a c. So that means our c is going to be equal to, this is 6, then minus 16, isn't that a negative 10? Yes, so we get this as a negative 10. So meaning the equation of the curve is going to be y, which is equal to 2 into 2x minus 5 cubed, then plus 4x squared minus 10. As simple as that. Question 2 is coming from binomial expansions. In the expansion of 3 plus a then to the power of 5 plus 6 minus x to the power of 4, the coefficient of x squared is 6 times the coefficient of x. Find the possible values of a. Alright. Now, when we have this 3 plus ax to the power of 5, they said coefficient of x squared. So we shall need the term in x squared here, then plus the term in x squared here. Then we also get the term in x here, and also the term in x here, and we add them because it is addition. Okay. So this one will be plus 6 minus x. Okay, then to the power of 4. Now we can say term in x squared. So for this one, it will be 5, then combination something. Then we have a 3. This is binomial expansion. Bi means 2, nomio means terms. So we are having 2 terms here. Okay, so this is the first one, this is the second one. And then we can have the other one is ax. If there is a minus here, please take this one with a negative. Now, we shall have, for this one to end in x squared, we shall have a 2 here. That means this one will be a 3. Okay, because when you add these 2 terms, you must get what is given here. And then the power of this second one is the one that I put in the one in the combination. So this will be 5 combination 2. Then I will come to this one. I will have 4, then combination something. and then we have a 6, then this one is negative x. Do you see that I'm putting negative x because we are seeing a minus here? Okay, then for this one to end in x squared, we shall have a 2 here. That means this one will be a 2, because when I add the 2, I should get the 4 here. Okay, then the power of this one is the one that comes here, so it is 4 combination 2. 5 combination 2 is 5 times 4, 20, divide by 2, that will be 10. Okay, so we shall get 10, then times 3 cubed is 27, then a squared, and then x squared. And then here 4 combination 2 is 4 times 3, that is 12, divided by 2, that is a 6, then times 36 here, and then x squared, a negative squared will give us a positive. So that means here I'm getting 270 a squared, and then here 6 times 36, that is 216, then x squared, that is the term in x squared. Then we can also get the term in x, so it will be 5, then combination something, we have 3, and then ax. Of course this will be 1, and that will be 1 there, and since this is power 5, then that means here we shall have a 4, then plus 4 combination something, then we have 6, and then negative x. That means this one will be to the power of 1, then to the power of 1, and since this is power 4, that means here we shall have a 3 as the power. So 5 combination 1 is a 5 times this one is going to be 81, then ax, and then plus this will be 4 times 6 cubed is 216. Okay, and with that x there being a negative, so this whole thing is going to be a minus. Okay, so meaning 5 times 80, that is 400, not so? And then add on a 5, that will be 405 of a, and then here times 4, 16 times 4 is another 64, and then 4 times 2, that is 8, so we shall have 8, then 64 of x. So this is the coefficient of x squared, this is the coefficient of x, and they say that the coefficient of x squared is 6 times the coefficient of x. So that means we are going to have 270 a squared plus 216, then is equal to 6 times this 405a minus 864. You see that? The rest is opening the brackets and then we simplify. So this is 270 a squared, then plus 216 minus this times 6, 6 times 405, that is 2430, 2430 of a, then 6 times this one here, 6 times 864, that is 5184. Now it's a negative. When it crosses the equal signs, it will be what? A positive. So plus 5184, which is equal to 0. Now we simplify. This is 270a squared minus 2430a, then 216 plus this one here, 216 plus 5184, that is 5400. Okay, now does 270 go into this one and this one? Yeah, it will actually go into this one, because 27 times 2 you get 54. Does it go in here? Let's check such that we can simplify this quadratic equation and then we solve it. 2430 divided by 270. Yes, it goes through. So that is 9. That means here we shall have a squared minus 9a then here it will be a 20, which is equal to what? To 0. You see that? Then after that, two numbers, when I multiply them, I get 20, but when I add them, I get negative 9. Automatically, that one is going to be a negative 4, and then a negative 5. Negative 5, plus negative 4, you get negative 9. But when you multiply them, you get this positive 20. You can even solve it using the calculator. 0. So this simply implies that A is going to be equal to 4, or A is going to be equal to 5. Question 3, part A. Use completing the square to find the exact solutions of the equation 4x squared minus 4x minus 1. We can do this in two ways. Okay, choose the one that is simpler for you when it comes to completing squares. Number 1, I have this 4x squared minus 4x minus 1, which is going to be equal to, we make sure that the coefficient of x squared is a 1. So because it is a 4, then I'm going to divide it all through. Okay, so when I do, because this is an equation, I divide it all through. If it was an expression, then I was going to factorize it. Okay, now divide all through by 4, we shall have x squared, then minus x, then minus a quarter. In fact, I can take the one this other side. Okay, and then I will have positive a quarter. You see that? So in fact, let me just take this one, this other side, straight away. We have that. Now let us complete the squares here. You get the coefficient of x here, you divide it by 2. So when I get the coefficient of x here, it is a negative 1. Then I divide it by 2. I put it together with x, then I square here, and then I pop this one out here as a square. So I have a quarter squared, then which is equal to a quarter here. The whole of this is actually this if you try to expand. Now this is x minus a quarter, a half squared, which is going to be a quarter. Now this one becomes a quarter. When it comes this side, it is also a quarter, which is a positive. Then we have x minus a half bracket squared. Then this one will be a quarter plus a quarter, you get a half, not so. Then we can take the square roots on both sides. So this will be plus or minus root over half, not so. Then after that, that means our x is going to be equal to a half, then plus or minus. This one I can write it as 1 over root of 2, or root 2 over 2, because I can multiply this one by root 2, and then this one by root 2. Okay, then root 2 times root 2, you get a 2. Then you see it is root 2 over 2. So meaning I can have my answers as 1, then plus or minus root 2 out of 2. And that is that. They said exact solutions. So 1 is 1 plus root 2 over 2. Then the other one is 1 minus root 2 over 2. So that is what we have. Now alternatively, you can have this 4x squared minus 4x minus 1. This one has to be in the format a into then let's say x plus b bracket squared, then plus c. That is the completed square format. Now what you can do is to expand the brackets. Okay, to expand everything, then you equate the coefficients. So here we shall have 2bx, then plus b squared, then plus c. You see that? Then that means 4x squared minus 4x minus 1 is going to be ax squared plus 2ab of x plus ab squared plus c. The coefficient of x squared here is a 4, and here it is an a. So that means a is going to be equal to 4. The coefficient of x here is a negative 4, and then here it is 2ab. 2ab. So that means our b is going to be equal to negative 4 out of 2 times a is a 4. And so a is a 4. So 4 cancels this one, then we shall get negative a half. So b is equal to negative what? A half. And then the constant part here, negative 1, shall be equal to the whole of this with no x. Okay, so we have ab squared plus c. So that means c is going to be the negative 1 here, then subtract the ab squared. What is our a? Our a is a 4. Our b is a negative a half. Not so? So that means c is going to be a half. This negative a half squared will give us a quarter. So 4 times a quarter, you will get 1. So we have negative 1 minus 1. That will be negative 2. So this therefore implies that this 4x squared minus 4x minus 1 is the same as our a is a 4. Then we have inside here x, and then our b here is negative a half, then squared, and then our c is a minus 2. Then we shall equate this one to 0. So take this one here, then you divide by 4. We can have x minus a half squared shall be equal to the 2 over 4. And then we can take the square roots. It will be plus or minus the square root of course, this one gives us a half, not so? Then x becomes a half plus or minus. This one is root 2 over 2. The same thing that we have gotten here. So use a method that is simpler for you. Next, part B, hence solve the equation, this one here. Okay, now by comparing with this equation here is 4x squared minus 4x. So I need to first multiply all through. Okay, I can multiply all through by tan theta because it is in the denominator, so I want to eliminate it. Okay, so 4 then plus 1 over tan theta. So multiply all through by tan of theta. What do we get here? This one will be 4 tan squared theta, and then this one is equal to 4 tan theta, then plus 1. And then when you bring everything onto one side, we shall have 4 tan of theta minus 1, which is equal to 0. Now, from here, we can compare. So by comparing with 4x squared minus 4x minus 1, which is equal to 0, this which we have in part A here, okay, this simply implies that tan theta is equal to x. Are we there? Then we are going to split it into 2. Therefore, tan theta is going to be these values we have gotten here, 1, then plus root of 2 over 2, and then the other one is going to be tan theta is going to be 1 minus root of 2 out of 2. Are we there? So theta then is going to be equal to the arctan of 1 plus root of 2 over 2, and also here theta is going to be equal to the arctan of 1 minus root of 2 over 2. And they have given us the domain. The domain here we are dealing with the first and second quadrant. So ASTC tan is positive in the first quadrant, so the whole of this is positive, okay? And this one is a negative, so meaning for this one we shall get the angle in the first quadrant because all are positive, and then for this one we shall get the angle in the second quadrant because that is where tan is what? Negative. Clear? Okay, so if I have theta here, okay, then I also project it here. Then the same thing here, I have theta, and then also project it there. Opposite angles are equal, so this will be 180 minus theta. This is 90, this is 180, this is 270, this is 0, this is 360. When you move anti-clockwise, the angles are positive. When you move clockwise, the angles are negative. Okay, all right, then I don't need this one or this one. I only need these ones here. So this one is positive, that means our theta is going to be, let's get the arctan here. The domain is given in degrees, that means your calculator should also be in degrees. Mine is in radians here, so shift, then mod, and then deg is 3. Then we have arctan of 1 plus root of 2, then out of 2. This one is going to give us 50.4. So 50.4 degrees, that is to 1 decimal place. Okay, then this one here, I will just come to this and then I put a minus there. But remember, 1 is smaller than root of 2 because root of 2 is 1.414 and the rest of the figures. You get it? So it is going to give us a negative. So when you just put in the calculator arctan of that, of the negative answer, you are going to get a negative answer here. Okay? So when you get that negative answer, it doesn't fall into our domain here. You see that? If going clockwise, anti-clockwise is positive, and then going clockwise is negative, that means we shall go down here, then we fall into this quadrant. That is the fourth quadrant, and that is where tan is negative. Then also here, we shall go this other side. So we fall into the second quadrant. That is where tan is negative also. Now for this case, instead of doing that, I say 180, okay, then minus that 11.7 we have gotten, okay? In other words, I always say ignore the negative such that you get the acute angle here, okay? Ignore the negative of this, ignore it. When you get the arctan of that, you are going to get the acute angle, which is this one, okay? That appears to be a negative when you get the arctan, when the negative is there. So that answer you have gotten, just ignore the negative, and then you say 180 minus that answer. Or when you get it like this, then, and you're supposed to get 180 minus the answer. So since it is already negative, then I will just put here 180 plus. You see that? Because this one is already negative, then I will get my answer there as 168.3. 168.3. That is also to 1 decimal place. So meaning that my theta is going to be 50.4 degrees and then 168.3 degrees. As simple as that. Question 4. The diagram shows part of the curve y is equal to x squared, then minus 1 over x squared. The shaded region is bounded by the curve. The line x is equal to 2 and the x-axis. Find the volume formed when the shaded region is rotated through 360 degrees about the x-axis, giving your answer correct to 2 decimal places. Okay, now when we rotate this one about x-axis, we are going to produce something like this here. So it will be a mirror in here, and then we shall form things like that. Now we are going to strip this one into very many subdivisions, but these subdivisions are going to give us an approximate cylinder. Okay, so we can have our cylinders. So suppose I get out a cylinder. Cylinder is like this. Then here it has the height, and then here it has the radius. Okay, now when I pull out one cylinder here, this is going to be its radius. Okay, or maybe I choose this one here. This one is going to be the radius, but that radius will equate to the y value that is here. You see that? So the radius is therefore equal to y. And then in between these two values that I've gotten, so I have, let me make this one much more clear. I'm having something like this. Okay, there's a radius here, and then when I cut this one here to get that cylinder out, then I'm going to have this point here and this point here. There is a small change in x there, okay, which is our what? Height here. So there is going to be the small change in x. And volume of a cylinder, you know that it is equal to pi r squared what? H. Not so. And this one shall be equal to pi, then y squared, and then delta what? Delta x for this case. Okay, that will be the volume of one cylinder. Now we need to put it as 1. Okay, we need to make it 1. We get all of these ones here. All of these ones, there are very many cylinders in there. We add them together, we put them together, we integrate them into one. So integrating is to put together into one thing. Okay, so this simply implies that we are going to have the volume. First of all, we need to get the y squared. So y is equal to x here squared minus 1 over x squared. So if it is squared, then you square this one here, it will be x to the power of 4. Then 2 times this times that, you will get minus 2. And then square this one here. Pardon me here. So minus 2. Then square this one here. That will be 1 over x power 4, which I can write as x power 4, then plus x power negative 4, then minus 2. So that means our volume, when we rotate about x-axis, is going to be pi y squared, then dx. So we need the x coordinate here. Okay, and that x coordinate, we can see that this curve is crossing y-axis. Okay, I mean it is crossing this x-axis here, and on x-axis, what do we know? Y is equal to what? 0. So we can, let me also put this one here first. We can have on x-axis y is equal to 0. So therefore we have x squared minus 1 over x squared will be equal to 0. Then x squared shall be equal to 1 over x squared. Then cross multiply, you have x power 4, which is equal to 1. And then x will be equal to plus or minus the 4th root of 1, which will be plus or minus 1. So I'm putting plus or minus because this is an even power. So when I put a negative here and I put power 4, I will get this one here. And then negative 1 also power 4, I will get a 1. So that's why we have plus or minus. Okay. All right. Then after that, this simply implies that this one here has to be a 1. Okay. I will take the positive from here. Then we come back to this one here. We are moving from 1 to 2. So I can put the pi outside, then we integrate 1 to 2, and then our y squared is this one here, which is x to the power of 4, then plus x to the power of negative 4, then minus 2, then dx. And then after this one here, we shall have pi, then this is x power 5 out of 5, increase the power by 1, you divide by the new power node, so x power negative 3, then out of negative 3 minus 2x, and then we put 2 and 1. Remember to take away the integral sign when you begin to integrate. You bring the brackets right away. Okay, now let's put the what? The limits. So put 2 here, 2 power 5. We have here 2 power 5, which is 32. And then here, this is the same as negative 1 over 3, then x cubed. Are we there? So negative a third, and then our x here is a 2, then cubed, then minus 2 times 2, then we put a 1, this will be 1 over 5, then minus a third, then minus 2. We continue to simplify. This is 32 over 5. 8 times 3, that's a 24. Minus 1 over 24. Then minus 4. Then from here, the negative is going to affect everything. So I'm going to have minus 1 over 5. Then plus 1 over 3. Then plus 2. Okay. Now I can put everything here in the calculator and then I get my answer. 32 out of 5, then minus 1 out of 24, minus 4, minus 1 out of 5, then plus a third, then plus 2. So we get 539 out of 120. Okay, 539 out of 120 pi. You can leave my answer here in terms of pi. Let me see, what did they tell us? They said we give our answer correct to 2 decimal places. So if you leave it here in terms of pi, then you will get a 0. Okay, because you have not followed the instructions. So what is this one to 2 decimal places? There is a pi. Okay, so the answer we have here, I will multiply it with a pi. Okay, then we have 14.11. That is to 2 decimal places. As simple as that. Question 5 is coming from circular measure. The diagram shows a sector ABD of a circle with center A and radius 10 centimeters. The perpendicular bisector of AB passes through D. Part A, find the perimeter of the shaded region BCD, giving your answer correct to 1 decimal place. And then here what we need to do, if it is perimeter, we need to sum up the lengths around the circle, around the region. So this is 5 centimeters. We need to find out what this one is, and then also this arc length here. Okay, now this being a right angle triangle, then I can use Pythagoras theorem to get CD. By the way, if this is 10, because this is an arc, okay, 10 here, even this one has to be 10. It is also the radius, so this is 10. So I can say, using Pythagoras theorem, using Pythagoras theorem, then DC or CD, whichever you want to call it, CD is going to be equal to the square root of 10 squared minus 5 squared, because this squared plus this squared gives us this squared, right? Okay, 100 minus 25, that one will give us 75. So it is root of 75. Let me first leave it exact there. And then, what else do I need? What else do we need? We shall need this angle here, okay, to find the length of the arc, because it is r theta. You get that? Also, using SOHCAHTOA, because on a right angle triangle, you can use Pythagoras theorem or SOHCAHTOA. So I can see that this adjacent is given and the hypotenuse is given relative to this angle. That means I'm going to use cos. So cosine of theta then is going to be equal to adjacent out of the hypotenuse. So meaning that theta shall be equal to the arc cos 5 over 10. Isn't that a half? Then this one gives us 60 degrees, which is pi over 3. Now, let's go to our perimeter. Perimeter of the shaded region. Perimeter of the shaded region, we are going to have BC, then plus CD, then plus arc BD. Arc length BD. So what is our BC? Is a 5. Our CD, root of 75. Then arc length is r theta. So r is 10. And then the theta is pi over 3. And they said we give our answer correct to 1 decimal place. If they had told us to give the exact value, then I would leave my answer here. But to 1 decimal place, what are we having here? In circular measure, you have to turn your calculator straight away to radians. So shift mode, and then radians is 4. Then we have 5 plus root of 75, then plus 10 pi out of 3. To 1 decimal place, this will be 24.1. 24.1 centimeters, 1 decimal place. As simple as that. Part B, find the area of the shaded region BCD. Give your answer correct to 1 decimal place. If we go back here and we check, you can see that area of this shaded region is going to be area of this big sector we have, then minus area of the what? The triangle. As simple as that. So shaded area shall be equal to area of sector, then minus area of the triangle. Now, area of a sector is a half r squared theta. So r is 10, and then theta we have seen it is pi over what? 3. Then minus area of a triangle, it's a half base height. So a half, and then the base is this one, the height is this one. So this root of 75. So times 5, then times root of 75. Okay, then we can put everything in the calculator here, or I can first simplify here. This is 100 divided by 2. Isn't that 50? So we have 50 pi over 3. And then here, root of 75 is the same as root of 25 times root of 3. Because 25 times 3 gives you 75, not so. So this is 5 root of 3. Now, 5 times this 5, you get 25. So we can have 25 root of 3, then out of 2. If they wanted exact, this would be the one. But now to one decimal place, what is it going to be? 50 pi out of 3, then minus 25 root of 3, and then we divide that by 2. So that is 30.7. 30.7 centimeters squared. And this is to one decimal place. As simple as that. Question 6. Each year on her birthday, Ananya receives some money from each of her parents. On Ananya's first birthday, her father gives her $10. Every subsequent year, her father gives her 5 more than he gave her the previous year. So this one keeps on increasing by addition. You get it? So that means this is an AP, arithmetic progression. Then here they are saying on Ananya's first birthday, her mother also gives her $10. Every subsequent year, her mother gives her 20% more than she gave her the previous year. So since this one keeps on increasing by a percentage of the previous one, this is like the compound interest formula where we say A is equal to P into 1 plus R over 100, then to the power of T. Okay, now this is a GP because the nth term of a GP is AR, then power n minus 1, something like that. So this implies that based on what she receives from the mother, that's a GP, and what she receives from the father, that is an AP. Okay, then they are saying part A, show that on Ananya's 11th birthday, she receives more from her mother than from her father. So this is a GP and this is an AP. Okay, so let's look at what she gets from the father. From the father, we are seeing this is an AP, right? And A, the first term is 10, and the common difference is a 5 because she keeps on receiving what? 5 more. And they want the amount received on her 11th what? Birthday. That is like saying the 11th term. You get it? So 11th term is going to be equal to A plus 10D. So what do we get here? A is 10, then plus, this is 10 times 5. So 50 plus 10, and we get 60. So that will be $60. Then let's consider from the mother. So from the mother, we see that this is a GP. Okay, a GP. A is 10, then we need the common ratio. Okay, the common ratio is going to be 1.2. Okay, because it is increasing by 20%. So how do we even get it? Okay, let me show you. Let me show you how you get that one. Let's say A is 10, then AR is going to be 10, then you increase this 10 by 20%, you are going to have 1 plus 20 over 100. It has increased by 1 year. So it is going to be 10, then times 1.1.2. Then let's say AR squared, that is the third term. So our A is 10, okay? And then now, right from here, you can see that R is actually this 1.2. You see that? Or I can say this is the first term, the amount she receives in the first year. Then the first time she gets is this. Then on the second year, it is this one. Then on the third year, we shall increase now this one. We shall increase this one here. by, again, this amount here, which is 1 plus 20 out of 100. So it is going to be 10 into 1 point what? 1.2 squared. You get that? So if I want to get R, then I can say the one in the second term here, which is 10 times 1.2. Then I divide by the first term here, which is what? 10. Don't you get 1.2? So that is that. Now coming back to this, the amount received on her 11th birthday from the mother. The mother here is proving to be giving more than the father. Okay, so this one is going to be A. Remember the nth term of an AP, a GP, is AR power n minus 1. Are we there? So if it is 11, then we shall have 11 minus 1, that is 10. So AR power what? 10. Our A is a 10, then R is 1.2, then to the power of 10. And what do we get here? 10, and then we have 1.2, then to the power of 10. So we are getting 61.92, or $61 and then 92 cents. $61.92. So this one here is bigger than this, as simple as that. Part B, find the total amount of money Ananya receives up to and including her 18th birthday. So we need to find out what she gets from the father and then what she also gets from the mother. Okay, they said total up to and including the 18th. So here we are getting the sum of the terms. Okay, remember we have from the father it is an AP. So we have Sn for an AP is n over 2 into 2a plus n minus 1, then times d. So on the 18th birthday, that means n is 18. So we have 18 here over 2 into 2 times the 10, then plus, this will be 18 minus 1, that is 17, and then times 5. So this will be 85, then plus 20, that's 105, not so? Then 9 times 105, what do we get here? Now, of course, this is 5 times 9, that is a 45, and then 9 times 1, that's a 9, so it will be $945. Okay, we keep this one here, then we go to this one here. What does she receive from the mother? Remember, this is an AP and this is a GP. Now we are going to have sum of the first n terms of an a GP is A into R power n minus 1 out of R minus 1. That is when R is greater than 1. And remember, our R is what? 1.2. Okay, now sum of the first 18 terms here is going to be our A is 10, R is 1.2, then power 18 minus 1, then out of 1.2 minus 1. Okay, and then what we are going to get here is our A is 10, then we have 1.2 to the power of 18, and then we subtract a 1. Now we can close the brackets, and then here 1.2 minus 1 is 0.2. So we get 1281.166 and the rest of those figures, but I'll round my answer to the nearest cent, that is to 2 decimal places. So it will be 1281 point, let's say 17. Okay, I'm taking it to the nearest word, nearest cent. Then from here, so the total amount received is going to be the 945, and then this other one here, which is 1281.17, which is going to be, so what we got here then plus 945, and then we shall have 2226.17, 2226.17. I've rounded this one off to the nearest what? Cent. But suppose you round this one off to 3 significant figures, you have 2230. Okay, so that is that. So this has been it for this first part of the paper. Thank you so much for watching. May God bless you. If you find the content very helpful, kindly like, share, and even subscribe. See you in the next videos.